Secrets of the Fourth Dimension revealed. Today we shall have the secrets of the fourth dimension revealed. There are many ideas about what the fourth dimension really is. Some describe it as time, others as space, but the one most relevant to our discussion today is the concept that opens the door to parallel universes and alternate realities. These alternate realities are not distant fantasies. They are living possibilities waiting to be understood and experienced. And today we shall enter these realms using the Dimension Board, a timeless legacy of the order of unified resplendence, preserved for centuries and passed carefully from teacher to student, from countless generations down to me, and now from me to you. I am Ijoma Oputa, the torchbearer of reflection. I guide people from pain and frustration to peace, revealing through mirror portals the limitless self within. Since I'm about to reveal the secrets of the fourth dimension, a field as vast and limitless as the word implies, it helps if we choose a single point of entry. And that's the role of the Dimension Board. It gives us a map, a guide, a way to focus our path of exploration. When I ask people if the fourth dimension is truly without limits, what part would you choose to explore first? And the answers are unsurprisingly consistent. Most people want to start in the region where there's wealth and abundance, and that is where we're going to begin today. So hence, this is where we start. First, while I turn out the lights, allow me to make something crystal clear. I will never sell you a course nor offer you a paid service to teach you how to get rich. Rather, I will always give you that information on my channels, podcasts, and videos absolutely free. And before the end of this video, you will know exactly why this is so. Remember this, my true work is guiding people from pain and frustration into peace and clarity by revealing through mirror portals the limitless self within. That is my specialty. Wealth and material success is a simple byproduct of this. Let me now draw your attention to the be, do, have paradigm. And if you're not familiar with it, this is a timeless principle with roots in ancient Sanskrit texts. It emphasizes the primacy of being first, the initial recognition of your limitless identity. And from that state of awareness, your actions, what you choose to do, flow with clarity and purpose. And those actions in turn shape what you eventually have, the accomplishments, and of course the wealth. And the experience you call, of course, reality. In the be, do, have paradigm, my area of mastery is the be part. What you truly are and how you align with your truest self. What you choose to do and what you eventually have afterwards, now that's entirely up to you. And this applies to wealth, abundance, and material success. So here is your starting point. The vessel, which represents the body. Each square here represents a different reality. And as you move forward through time, understand that we begin life with divine purpose, represented here by the crown. We are also beset with the potential for negative influence, represented here by the dragon. Most of us are influenced by the dragon through trauma, failure, abuse, and rejection, And as we grow and develop the characteristics of a pawn in this chessboard of limitless possibilities, we find ourselves confined. Now, these facial expressions represent your present state of mind. And as you can see, each expression places you in a different timeline. This is who we're being at present. The negative influence of the dragon usually places us in this region of negativity. And the dominant expressions at this very moment determines the realities we face. These vary from anger, fear, and frustration to absolute rage. And if you're in this category, don't be embarrassed. This represents 99% of the population and includes people from every level of the food chain, from celebrities to CEOs to workers, pilots, doctors, engineers, regular folks like me and you. When I was a teenager, for example, my dominant expression was around here. When asked to select a desirable destination, most people of this region of dominant expression usually select, of course, the treasure chest, which, by the way, represents a reality of material wealth and abundance. This is a characteristic of the dreaded have, do, be paradigm, as opposed to the be, do, have we talked about earlier, where people generally seek to first have and possess whatever it is they desire so they can have the freedom to do what they want. And so as a result, be happy. And that's, of course, the plan. But unfortunately, it's switched the wrong way around. It's supposed to be first, do, have. The common mistake is that people seek wealth and abundance first without changing who they are internally. Changing their image and identity is paramount, and that is why so many people struggle. Before you can claim your birthright of wealth and abundance, you must determine who you are willing to become. Because in order to be wealthy, in order to be successful, you have to identify with that first. Who are you willing to become in order to be wealthy and successful? To illustrate this, let's explore common reasons why people want to be rich in the first place. Some desire wealth to get respect. What that really means is that they depend on external validation to develop self-respect. So the ultimate goal is not wealth and not social status, but simple self-respect, represented by this reality here. Such people thus find themselves prisoners of their possessions and are unable to show any form of kindness or generosity because they are simply terrified of losing what in their minds is the only basis for their self-worth. The loss of a single penny brings them that much closer to irrelevance in their minds, which from their warped perspective is the same as death. However, it makes no sense to go through all that trouble to generate true self-respect when we can just cut the hustle and go straight from despondence to here. Unimpeachable self-respect without the unnecessary hassle of waiting to be rich first or adored by everyone. Now, these are great things to aspire to, but you can respect yourself first. And exactly how do we do this? Stay tuned, and I shall show you. But let's first continue with other examples. Others would rightfully state that wealth gives them a sense of security, and I would entirely agree with them, which is why I always emphasize that before you set out on any journey towards success, you must first and foremost secure a stable income, enough to keep food on the table and a roof over your head. This sanctuary becomes your own Superman telephone booth. If you're old enough to recall the reference, of course. This private space is where you can recharge and transform from your simple beginnings to anywhere you want to occupy in the fourth dimension. This is where you can recharge and transform, and from there it serves as the solid launching pad for your boldest ambitions and wildest dreams. I also know from experience that total reliance on God brings security, and with the right conditioning, we can achieve that sense of peace by going from here to here without the hassle of getting rich first. So once again, we must, in our sanctuary, transition from being fearful of the future to reliant on God. And exactly how we do this is what I'm about to show you shortly, so stay tuned. A third example of why people want to be rich so badly is because others claim that being rich is the best revenge. But such a path often traps them in a life consumed with scores to settle and a distorted desperation to prove themselves through success and through abundance. Now, if success comes this way, it may feel sweet, yet the price is very steep. Trauma, unrest, and a hollow drive that corrodes from within. Many remain stuck in this personal hell, never really reaching the success they so desperately chase, only to end up victimized, burnt out, and exhausted by a lifelong struggle that yields little more than emptiness and frustration. Doesn't it make more sense to just simply step into the version of yourself that fully forgives everyone, freeing you from the heavy burden of proving yourself all the time, while opening the channel of divine inspiration from God? And that naturally, of course, guides you towards success. Isn't that a better idea? And exactly how do we do this? Well, this is what I'm about to show you right now. With these three examples, it should now be unmistakably clear that your true path to success begins by changing who you are first. When you identify with success from the outset, you position yourself in the very timeline of wealth. Wealth, success, and abundance exist in this region. So if you're in this timeline, that is where you progress. And this is made possible with the intervention of the Rook. The Rook symbolizes transition, sliding you from anguish and pain and despair into the dignity of self-respect, moving you from fear into complete reliance on God, rising from the need for retribution into the higher ground that transcends such puerile concerns. And this transition occurs with a quantum box. And it happens just like this. Declaration 1. For the fact that I require neither material things nor associations to be complete, I am already grateful. Declaration 2. I release all concerns, considerations, and fears to my heavenly universal Father. For this, I am already grateful. Declaration 3. My forgiveness is instant, universal, and non-negotiable. And that's all it takes. Whew. By standing before the quantum box and by making these declarations, you're not merely reciting words. Neither are you just talking to a reflection. You are witnessing yourself step into a higher identity. And this practice carries you beyond the surface level of acknowledgement. It slides you from anguish, which leads to destruction, to joy, success, and self-assurance, which leads you to success. It penetrates deep into the subconscious, where old limitations and buried doubts reside, and it yanks them out from the roots. The mirror portal is not just a reflection, it is a sacred gateway. When you look into it with intention, you are seeing both who you have been and who you are becoming. And with each declaration, you plant a new seed of truth. And as you continue, those seeds displace the weeds of false belief and transition you to realities where success is at hand. Your nervous system begins to adjust. Your mind reorganizes itself, and your body accepts the new reality you are declaring. This, my dear viewer, is how we firmly establish the be in the be, do, have paradigm. You have to be first before you can seek success. Because you are no longer striving to become, you are being. And from this state of being, every action you take flows naturally. You are aligned with success, abundance, and peace, which you already embody from birth. Now here's the delightful truth. When you enter these states of mind, time itself works in your favor. It naturally unfolds iterations of reality where good fortune, wealth, and abundance align with you. The path toward them ceases to feel like striving, and instead it becomes a blissful journey. And in this space, you no longer cling to outcomes of wealth, success, or fame because you are already living their essence. You are immersed in the joy of your divine passion, uncovered only by being in this elevated state to begin with. And from here, wealth, success, and abundance flow without force, because they're not goals to be chased, but the natural byproducts of an enlightened mind inspired with divine purpose, rooted in faith, free from the hunger for retribution and revenge, and liberated from the craving for external validation. Notice how the most successful people in the world follow their passion. They create value, whether through service, innovation, entertainment, and by doing what they love. Meanwhile, the majority of us, the unwashed masses, remain trapped in this exhausting chase for money, driven by appearances and the approval of others. I know this trap very well. I once fell right into it myself. It took a harsh reckoning, being swept into a federal dragnet, to shatter that illusion. The experience, though painful, gave me clarity, and I emerged wiser, no longer chasing appearances, shadows, but instead anchored in purpose, because I'm doing what I love, what I'm here to do. And you must do the same for yourself. To chase wealth instead of passion is to pursue the byproduct rather than the source. It is like being obsessed with the exhaust fumes of your favorite car rather than the car itself. That is why, at present, I do not offer consultations on getting rich first. My true passion is guiding people from pain and frustration into peace through the use of mirror portals. And when you can achieve that, wealth and abundance naturally arise as byproducts of this transformation. And because of that, the subject of wealth is something I will always teach freely. Now, if you like how this sounds and if it resonates some way or somehow with your aspirations for success, please leave a comment down below. If you like how this sounds, remember to like, subscribe, and share with friends and family you love. Because there's nothing better than being inspired to the greatest aspirations of who you truly can be. And once you identify with that, and with friends and family, you all can collectively grow together and occupy the regions of reality that represent the success and the abundance you so desperately require or desire. Peace and blessings.